Howdy, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing and ranking the Pierre Packer by New York Toy Collective. I'll be ranking this Packer based off of 5 different criteria. The first one's going to be looks and realism. Will this look natural if I wear this into the shower? Next one is going to be comfort and packability. Will it look or feel like a boner when I'm wearing this? Next one is going to be squishiness. How squishy is this prosthetic and will it pass the grab test? Next is going to be pricing. Will I be broke if I buy this prosthetic? Yes or no? And then finally, my overall ranking and would I recommend this to people? I'd like to really quick point out that I bought this prosthetic with my own money. No one sent me this for review or gave me money to review this. This is all just my own opinion. And what works for me may not necessarily work for you, so please keep that in mind. Before we get started with the review, I'd like to point out what you're going to see is a prosthetic that looks like a penis. So if this bothers you in any way, please feel free to click off. Thank you for always watching as long as you did, and have a good one. Alright, here is the Pierre by New York Toy Collective. Give you a little wraparound, just some lint on there. It's not supposed to be on there. It does attract quite a bit of lint. A little view of the balls, the underneath of the shaft. It's an uncut tip for it. Flat back, so the balls aren't 3D. The size specs on this are total length is going to be 5.25 inches or 13.33 centimeters. The penis length is going to be 4.75 inches or 12.06 centimeters. The width at the maximum point is 2 inches or 5.08 centimeters. The weight of this is about 6.7 ounces or 189.9 grams. And we'll bring back my favorite comparison. This is about the weight of a hamster. The cost of the Pierre is $55 USD, and there are 8 colors available, 4 of them being non-human skin tones. The one that I have is in the caramel color. I'd like to point out that they do have a smaller version of this that is $45 USD. They also have a version with paint on it that is $99 USD. And they have a painted version with movable balls for $125 USD. For my pricing category, I'm going to put the Pierre in the worth it tier. This is still a cheaper Packer that's 100% silicone, so it is going to last longer and not trap bacteria or grow mold, but I do think it is a bit on the higher end for cheaper Packers. Okay, so fair warning, it has been a few years since I bought the Pierre. I've had it for 3-4 years now. And I don't really remember what the packaging was like. It probably was a bubble envelope, and inside it came with this bag that's resealable for you to keep the actual Packer inside. So I'm a big fan that their bags that they sell them in actually double up as a storage container. So my first impressions of the Pierre were that I really liked the look of it, how it was an uncut Packer for the price point and being 100% silicone. I remember not liking how cool toned this color was, but overall it's not bad. I do wish they had a wider variety of colors that you could choose from, but I am glad that they have some non-human skin tones available because I know some people enjoy that. This has some skin texturing on it, some veins. If you look at the bottom of it, it has a line going down, fully uncut head. It's not painted in any way. The balls have some texturing on them. They don't wrap all the way around, and it's a totally flat back here, so keep that in mind if that bothers you. I'd say the silicone is pretty squishy, but it does have a bit of a firmness of it because it's just a single pore silicone. It's not the worst in the world, and I definitely think that it packs well, but I would say because the shaft is longer than most flaccid penises are, it does pack a bit bigger than I would like in some situations. And I don't know if this is because I've had it for so long, because I can't remember if it was tacky when I first got it, but I noticed that it has this slight tacky feeling to it. Not necessarily oily or leaving a residue on your hands, just ever so slightly sticky. But cornstarch fixes that right up. For a looks tier, I'm going to put this in alright. I think overall this is a really good looking packer. Its main fault is just that it has a lack of painting, but even with the paint versions that they have, it's not really my favorite because the paint shows up really shiny in the pictures. I think if they added some colors to the light veins on here and some colors just to the tip of the head, it would definitely bump it up on this list. So with packing with this, I noticed that because this is a single pore silicone, even though it's relatively comfortable, you're still always going to be fairly aware of it because it doesn't have as much squish as some other prosthetics I've tried in the past. I also noticed that it has a tendency to tilt on me if I'm not wearing something really tight to hold it in place. I think it has to do with the fact that because this is a flat back on here, it doesn't really contour to your body and be held in place by the actual shape of your body. It's just kind of free floating. So I definitely recommend wearing some tighter underwear or tighter pants just to keep it compressed to you. It'll also help with the bulge if it's a little too big for your liking, like it is for me. But wearing something tight does help. I will admit, for the bulge of this one, I typically would wear this out if I was going out like clubbing or something where you kind of want to show off, but my daily packer, I wouldn't really use this for that. And like I mentioned before, since the silicone is slightly tacky, I'd probably recommend either using a packing strap or something that you can create a barrier between yourself so it doesn't tug on your hair. For comfort and packability tier, I'm going to put this in gray sweatpants season. It is a bit more of a show-off packer, but it still is really comfortable. I still do recommend tighter underwear and some cornstarch to help with the tackiness and the shaft length. So the squishiness on this is not nearly on par with the Mr. Limpy that I did in my last video, but it is still relatively squishy if you want to give it a look. I don't think it's awful squish-wise, but it is definitely firmer. And for a grab test, I don't think this would pass a grab test because it feels just a little too solid in my pants that I think someone would think I'm a little too excited to see them. For my squishiness ranking, this is going into the firm category. It's not bad, but if you prefer super squishy packers, then I would probably look into a different one. So, what did I think about the Pierre by New York Toy Collective? I feel like I'm kind of biased in saying that I really like this packer since I've had it for so many years now. But I do think that this would be a great starter packer because it is right around that price point where you're getting into more higher end packers in a sense. But because this is 100% silicone, it's going to last you longer than something like a Mr. Limpy, and I think it has a good amount of realism for what you're paying. My only issues with it are, I wish that you had an option for choosing the firmness of the silicone, and I wish they had a wider variety of skin tones so that you could more easily find a match to yourself. Their painted options, again, I wasn't a really big fan of them, but maybe if they revamped them in a way that it wasn't so shiny, I would like it more. For my overall ranking, I'm going to put the Pierre in worth a try. I do think that this is a good packer overall. It's no frills, very simple, 100% silicone. My issues with it are that it packs a bit too big for my liking, and also I feel that within that price point, there are some better packers overall, whether it's in detail, paint, or other features. So, that was my review of the Pierre by New York Toy Collective. I still really like this packer after so many years of having it. It's more of a special occasion packer for me now, if I'm going out on a hot date, going clubbing, but it's not really going to be my daily go-to packer. But I'll tell you more about that later in future reviews. I hope you found this video informative, entertaining. I hope it gave you some insight on this prosthetic. If you have any questions about this one in particular, or any ones I've done reviews on in the past, please let me know. Have a good one.